to another video. Today we're back into the CD collection. You see a big gap here. That's the S's. That's where Sahara Hotnights goes in the collection. So Sahara Hotnights, band from Sweden, all female. Started out as like a punk rock band, certainly heavy influences from the Ramones. And as the years went on, their sound started to change, became a bit more polished, a bit more pop sounding. First kind of like more pop punkish, and then kind of almost straight up like pop, like almost top 40-ish kind of sound to it. And the first time I heard them was around, I guess it must have been 2001 or 2002. I remember Much Music, the music video channel, played their video for All Right, Here's My Fist, Where's the Fight? And at the time there were a lot of kind of pop punk sounding bands, and you know, I thought it was good, but it didn't really stand out or catch my ear to the point where I wanted to like investigate the band a bit more or anything like that. It wasn't until I guess 2004, I believe, when I heard their song from their, I guess, third full-length album, Kiss and Tell. They had a song called Hot Night Crash, and I remember working at Broadway Video. I've told this story before. You might have seen a video where I said this. I was working at Broadway Video. We used to do these compilations for colleges, and it had like a lot of comedy stuff on it, what have you, and music videos and stuff. And it would go to colleges for them to broadcast on their networks and stuff like that. So we would get all the elements and comp them together, and you know, send them out to the colleges on beta tapes, masters or digi betas or whatever it was. And one night, I'm sitting there kind of putting them together. It's running in the background on one of the monitors, and I hear this song. It's the Sahara Hotnights, Hot Night Crash, and it really caught my ear. I really liked it. Really catchy, you know, great upbeat kind of pop punk song, and the video was great as well. And I remembered, I was like, oh, I remember them from a few years ago. And I think there was a Tower Records, you know, around Lincoln Plaza or whatever, in New York there, and we were on like 50th and Broadway or 49th and Broadway, something like that. And I remember, I don't know if it was that same night or what, but I remember just going out and picking up that record, Kiss and Tell, and then I've just been a fan ever since, and I just kind of immersed myself in their previous records, and then whenever new stuff came out, I would get it. It's been a little bit trickier to get the newer stuff, because they don't really, at some point, they kind of, I guess, lost their deal with a record label in the United States, and their last couple records haven't even really been released here. So I had to get them overseas and shipped in. So it's not that it's tough, but it costs a bit more. So anyways, here's what I have. This is their first EP that they released. Might even be kind of self-released, maybe. It's on Speech. Oops. This is a EP called Suits Anyone Fine. This took me a long time to get. I had been trying to track a copy of this down for the longest time, and then had like a, you know, an alert thing on Discogs, you know, and like once a year this would pop up for sale, always kind of expensive. And then just one night I got the email, somebody has one of these for sale, and I just instantly grabbed it and finally picked it up. And it's all right, you know, I mean, it's certainly a band that hasn't quite found their sound yet, but you know, it's kind of interesting to pick up. Their first full-length album is Come On, Let's Pretend. This came out in, geez, I don't even know what year this was released. But it's not an EP, but it's short. It's only got a couple, there's all pictures and stuff in the booklet. I still can't find the damn year. I don't know what year this was, sorry. But really good. I have I've gotten to see them, I guess, twice. There's some ticket stubs on here. Of course, it's blocking the song titles for me there. I have to pull the booklet out again, and I bet you the song titles aren't listed in here. What do you know? I know what I'll do. So this is their first full length, starting to kind of develop their sound more pop punk. I have this is the United States version. I also have the European version that came out, different artwork. They did that with a couple of their records, and I'll show you as we go along. But on here, some of the tracks on here, Push On Some More, Quite a Feeling, Drive Dead Slow, Oh Darling, Impressed by Me, great stuff. Like I said, they're really kind of starting to kind of get their sound, what they're going to be for the next couple records. So after that, we get Jenny Bomb, named after the guitarist. This is a 2-disc set with some bonus stuff in here, like slipcase. And as you can see, another really good pop punk record as the CD falls off of the thing. This is working out well. Nothing special. I don't even know why I'm showing that. It's nothing great. This is the one, like I mentioned earlier in the intro, has All Right, All Right on it, which was kind of my introduction to the band. On Top of Your World, I think, was a release of the single. 2 songs back to back that I really love, Fire Alarm and No Big Deal. No Big Deal is one of my favorites by them. With or Without Control, Down and Out, just all great stuff. The second CD is basically, I also have separately, it's this Keep Up the Speed EP that they released. Now Tonight, All Right, All Right, the video is on here. They do a cover of Teenage Kicks, which is pretty good. And really good one. So the alternative artwork for the European version of that one is this, where they're just kind of like standing in like some nature-y landscape. I don't really know what the story was with why they changed the artwork. I mean, I think, this certainly looks like, I know the record label is certainly in the United States, we're pushing them more as like a punk band, and this certainly kind of plays into that far more than this does. So I don't know if that were the reasoning behind it or not, but kind of interesting that there are 2. So then then comes the album, Kiss or Tell, or Kiss and Tell, which is where I become a fan. This has got Hot Night Crash on it. This is the, that's just a blank CD that I have some bonus tracks on. This is the Japanese version, which has 2 bonus tracks on it, Model A and The Dogs Don't Want You. This isn't the original one I bought in Tower Records back then. Didn't have those. This is not that. I gave that to a friend when I picked this one up for the bonus tracks. So this is where the sound starts to kind of make a little bit of a change. Still pop punk, but sort of more like top 40, almost like new wave kind of sound seeping in. Who Do You Dance For, Empty Heart, Walk on the Wire. The 2 closing tracks on this record I really like. The difference between Love and Hell and Hanging. Those I really like, but really good record. And then this wasn't overseas artwork. I think this was the original possible artwork, and then they changed it. But this is the like kind of a promo release for the record with the different artwork. Nothing special, but really good record. I mean, if you like pop punk, new wave kind of stuff, I highly recommend this. It's certainly my favorite record by them. Their next record kind of goes a bit more into the kind of top 40 sound, farther away from, that punk, pop punk sound completely. This is What If Leaving Is a Loving Thing. This one, I don't even know if this one was released in the United States. I got this as an import. This is on Universal and Stand By Your Band. But this is like, the European release of this. This isn't from the United States. And like I said, I don't know if this was released in the United States. Kind of a pretty cool CD here. It's like black on the back. I think like a lot of European ones have that. I don't know if there's anything special about that, but good record. But like I said, I remember after becoming a fan with Kiss and Tell, even though the sound was starting to kind of sound a little more, pop, top 40 stuff, kind of creeping in. But, I remember when this came out and hearing some of the tracks. I think Cheek to Cheek was the first single, and it just was like really like top 40 stuff, and just really caught me off guard. And the whole album, I kind of was, I wouldn't say disappointed, but it just, surprised me that they were kind of going in that direction. I didn't expect that. After that, they followed it up with Sparks, which is a cover album. Again, I remember when this came out, another one of these European black CDs. I remember when this came out, it was a little disappointing. They were putting out a covers record. This is 2008. It was a little disappointing because, I'd become a big fan. I just wanted, new stuff. I wasn't that interested in cover stuff, but there's some pretty good stuff on here. They do a cover of Big Me by Foo Fighters, which is okay. It's one of the few Foo Fighters songs I actually like, but their versions, it's okay. But there's a tune on here, Japanese Boy, which I really like, the original artist is slipping my mind. City of Brotherly Love's a really good cover as well. And they do If You Can't Give Me Love, which I think is Suzi Quatro. That's another one that's really good. So there's a couple on here that I actually really ended up liking quite a bit. Then their next record, I think, is 2011. Again, these are all overseas purchases I'm picking up at this point. None of these are really getting United States releases. This one's self-titled, Sahara Hotnights. If you've seen any of my videos in the past, you know how much I can't stand it when bands well into their career self-title an album. I don't know. It just feels like, come on, come up with a title. But anyways, again, this one really like pop record, you know what I mean? And I remember before it came out, they kind of released a few little snippets of songs just to kind of tease it a little bit. And there was one on here called 781 and one called O's, O's was like the single that was released. And they just released like a little snippet and it sounded like guitars. So it kind of had my hopes up that like, oh, maybe they're kind of veering back to the more punk sound, but not really. It's really kind of like a pop record. But there's good stuff on here. Like when I first got it, I wasn't crazy about it, but it grew on me over time. And I bought this pretty much directly from the band. They autographed the little booklet there. I think they sent me like with this when I bought it, it came right from the band. It came with some like stickers or some little patches. There's like this whole like, flight attendant motif going with the album artwork, and the patches were like these little wings, like like the flight wings that the crew wears. But there's a couple of songs on here I really liked, and when I first got it, it was a little disappointing, but it did really grow on me with multiple listens. Let You Down, O's, I kind of like. 781, like I said, I really like. There's a song on here, Distant and Dreamy, that ends the record, which I really, really like. Kind of like a slow build, just kind of, it's about a 5-minute song, but it just kind of builds to this, peak that that one I really, really enjoyed. So then the band pretty much kind of goes on hiatus for a long time, just about 10 years. Maria, the lead singer, and I guess she plays rhythm guitar. She writes a lot of the songs. She released a solo record. The others kind of just were doing other things. But then all of a sudden, in 2022, we get their first record in 10 or 11 years called Love in Times of Low Expectations. And again, this one I bought, I think, directly from the band. They autographed the booklet and everything. But this record, I actually got it not too long ago, and I listened to it, and I'd heard one or two of the songs previously, and it just didn't really do anything for me. It's just that pop, really kind of like mellow pop sound. I don't know, like, it's Sweden, I don't know, like, Sweden, did they give us a lot of, like, kind of pop? I know, like, ABBA is Swedish and shit, and I wouldn't necessarily compare this to, like, an ABBA record or sound, but it just feels like they kind of, like, just did such a 180 from, from this to this, like, you'd almost never think it was the same band. It's just such a drastic change. But I listened to this once, and nothing really caught my ear, and which was disappointing. I don't know. Maybe I'll give it another listen, but it just kind of feels like something I doubt that this is ever really gonna rise in the ranks, so to say, for me. But I mean, it's good that they're back together and doing. They did a bunch of shows last year to promote this, and they put this out last year. I don't know. We'll see what happens with the band going forward, if they continue to make more records, or if this was just kind of like, hey, after COVID and everything, maybe just kind of made them go like, hey, we miss each other. Let's do something. Who knows? I don't know. We'll see. I mean, we'll see what the future holds for Sahara Hotnights. But, I do highly recommend, if you like punk and pop punk and stuff like that, and you kind of miss them in the early 2000s or mid 2000s. I mean, they didn't have big success here. They were kind of, never really had that breakthrough. But if you missed out on them, I highly recommend, especially those first like 3 records. I definitely would recommend you checking out. But yeah, that's the Sahara Hotnights collection, and I can fill that hole back in now that I've shown you them. But thanks for watching. If you're familiar with the band, definitely let me know what you think of these. Let me know what you thought of their kind of transition to this. I would love to kind of hear some other thoughts on that. So thanks for watching, and we'll see you another time. So long.